Many men will try to avoid the reality of whatever situations, challenges or problems they're experiencing in their lives. And this kind of active passiveness where they're almost complicit in letting their problems compound just doesn't work. And to illustrate this, I want to share with you the lyrics from a Beatles song, because in my mind, the Beatles articulated this particularly well. They said that yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. Now it looks like they're here to stay. I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. And when we think about where we are collectively in this kind of post-pandemic era, I wonder just how many men feel like they're half the man they used to be, or that are living their lives with a shadow hanging over them. Because think about the typical things that men have a reputation for avoiding. There's a few here that I want to share with you, and perhaps top of my list is going to the doctors. By avoiding going to the doctors, it means that many men don't have to deal with the discomfort of a diagnosis. And in a collaborative study between Gillette and the Movember Foundation, they found that 44% of men between the ages of 18 and 40 had never checked their testicles. Have you checked yours? The next point that I want to share is that many men will avoid standing on the scales, or they just don't weigh themselves. And the reason I believe that a lot of men don't weigh themselves is because in doing so, it would highlight the subtle but consistent weight gain that's probably been happening for a period of years. Recently, the NHS suggested that as many as 68% of the men in the UK are overweight, and you might be one of them. The next thing that I believe men avoid are arguments. They avoid kind of those arguments with their partners in the belief that arguments are bad, but what happens is that they never deal with the small frustrations that might lead to a small argument, and instead resentments start to build and fester in a relationship or a marriage. And recently in The Independent, they stated that inquiries in legal divorce firms in the UK had increased by as many as 95%. The last point that I want to illustrate here is just how many men will stay in unfulfilling job roles. A lot of men will tolerate, in many cases for years, jobs that they dislike or they really don't find meaningful, because it feels frankly safer and easier to stay where they are rather than putting themselves out there and doing something that they find more purposeful in their lives in terms of their job. So I'd encourage you all to kind of look back across what I've just shared with you, all the things that I believe that men avoid, because my key message here is that at some point you need to take your head out of the sand and to be more proactive in how you address the issues that you've got going on in your life. Because if you don't, you might end up as half the man you used to be, with a shadow hanging over you.